Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is a business skills for e-commerce, and the same chapter, that is chapter number 10, that is the supply chain management, that is e-commerce and supply chain management, how the supply chain management is impacted or affected by the e-commerce. In the last class we have started with this chapter, that is the supply chain management. Today I'm going to continue about this chapter, that is the supply chain management. In the last class we have discussed so many issues that is related to the supply chain management. First of all, we have studied what is e-commerce, how e-commerce is related with the supply chain management, what is SCM, that is the supply chain management, what is supply chain, what are the features of supply chain management, limitations of supply chain management. So we have discussed so many issues, and one of the major effect that makes the impact on the supply chain management, that is known as the bullwhip effect. So we have studied these topics in the last class. Now I'm going to continue with the next topic, that is managing the supply chain. That is the 10.8, that is the 8th topic of this chapter. So let's start with the how to manage the supply chain. That is in order to manage, in order to provide the customer with a better effective supply chain, better effective product services, it is better to, or it is important to manage the supply chain. So let's see how to manage the supply chain. First of all, there is a traditional supply chain that often includes that more than one company in a series of supplier customer relationship. So it includes that there is one more than one relationship that creates in a supply chain management, that is a traditional approach. It is often defined as a series of links and shared processes that involves all activities from the acquisition of raw material to the delivery of finished goods to the end users. So it is defined as a series of links, that is a supply chain management, that is a traditional one. A traditional means the last one, that is that includes the delivery of the, or that includes the, from the starting point, that is the acquisition of raw material to the delivery of the product. It is from the acquisition of raw material to the delivery of finished good to the end users or customer. Raw materials enter into a manufacturing organization via supply system. So whenever we say about the raw material that must enter into a manufacturing organization via the supply system and are transformed into the finished good that is supplied to the user. The finished good are then supplied to the customer through a distribution system. So this is the traditional supply chain. That is, first of all, the raw material is sent to the manufacturing department. Then manufacturing department produces the finished goods and then passes these finished goods to the end user for their distribution system, for their uh, end users. Generally, several companies are linked together in this process, each adding value to the product at, as it moves to the through the supply chain. Effective supply chain management is the act of optimizing all activities throughout the supply chain, and it is the key to a competitive business advantage. Consequently, an organization's ability to gain a competitive advantage is heavily dependent on the coordination and collaboration with its supply chain partners. A typical supply chain is too often a sequence of disconnected activities both within and outside of the organization. So it may be connected within the organization, that is a supply chain is maintained, or a chain is maintained within an organization or beyond the organization. Then next is how to manage. Exchanging data is critical. That is, for example, if I'm being a owner, I'm passing the raw material to the manufacturing department. That is also very critical part. Why? Because whenever I exchange the data, that is a risk. If in between the transmission any data is hacked, any data is accessed by the unauthorized user, so it is very critical to exchange the data from one part to the another part. This is The underlying enable of supply chain integration is the first fast and timely exchange of information between supply chain partners. That is the most important part. That is the transferring is almost or everyone or every time fast and timely exchange. That is a within a time period it is exchanged between the supply chain partners. This information may take the form of transactional documents such as purchase order, ship notices, invoices, as well as planning related documents like demand forecast, production plan, inventory reports. That is, this information may take the form of any of the document that may take place. That may be a report, that may be a notice, that may be a invoice. It is this sharing and coordination of information and planning activities that can enable cost reduction, value enhancement, and the execution of advanced collaborative planning activity. In the past, the cost and the complexity of executing EDI transactions made this type of information exchange suitable for only the large corporations. However, the challenges are challenges are there in the supply chain management for making the supply chain management for making the goods for making them very effective. Applications like those there are some applications that makes the exchanging or that makes the data exchange very efficiently. That is like applications like VMI, that is a vendor management or vendor managed inventory, that is a VMI, collaborative planning, e-procurement, shipping tracking and tracing, EOM, that is the electronic order management, and the bill presentment and payment can be built upon a core data exchange platforms. So there are so many applications that provides the or that makes the data exchange very efficient. A supply chain encompasses all the activities and information flows necessary for the transformation of goods from the origin of raw material to when the product is finally consumed or discarded. So supply chain encompasses or supply chain contains all the information, all the activities that must be necessary or that must be taken care of for the transformation of goods from the starting point, that is the origin of the raw material, when the raw material come, and at the end of the product, that is finally the product is delivered to the end user or the end customer. This typically involves distribution of product from the supplier to the manufacturer to the wholesaler to the retailer and to the final consumer. This is basically the main chain, that is supply the product or distribute the product from supplier to the manufacturer, then provide it to the wholesaler, then provide it to the retailer, then provide it to the final consumer. So first of all, which entity? There is supplier that supplies the goods to the manufacturer. So second entity is manufacturer, third entity is wholesaler, fourth entity is retailer, and the fifth entity is final consumer, otherwise known as the nodes in the supply chain. I call them as an entity, or most of the peoples or general in general terms, in IT terms, it is known as the nodes. Why nodes? Because whenever I say in a network there are different computers, that computers are also known as the nodes. In the same way, these persons, these individuals, these entities are also known as nodes in supply chain management. The transformation of product from node to node includes activities such as production planning, purchasing, material management, distribution, customer service, and forecasting. So this includes there are so many activities that includes while transferring the goods or while exchanging the product from the starting point, that is supplied to the end users. While each firm can be competitive through improvement to its internal practices, ultimately the ability to do business effectively depends on the efficient functioning of the entire supply chain management. However, it is not simply about passing information from one node to the another node. We simply say that this will pass to the manufacturer, then manufacturer pass to the wholesaler, then retailer, but it is not the a simple process by simply passing the information. No, but it is very complicated process, and there are so many activities and there are so many functions that must be taken care of, effectively, so that the movement of product from one node happens in a timely manner and meets the schedule or production schedule. So this is very important that it is nothing that passing information is the only method, no, but passing the information in a timely manner is also one of the major challenge in the supply chain management. Now, next is collaboration. Collaboration means collection. So this says technology solutions can support greater data visibility and integration of dispatch and distribution with production scheduling. However, one element that underpins management of supply chain is collaboration. That is only the one element that underpins management. That is that manage each and everything is known as the collaboration. That is collaboration means the firm share information in an accurate and timely manner. That is the collaboration. So whenever there is a communication among various firms, among various chains, among various nodes, so that is known as the collaboration. That means firms share information in an accurate and timely manner. So all the business activities or all the businesses in the supply chain can adequately plan forward inputs and outputs, dispatch product, manage risk, and maximize return on investment. This improves the overall functioning of supply chain and ultimately the individual firm's bottom line. The key is or the key to collaboration is communication. As I said that the major key or the major part of the collaboration is communication, and the key to better communication is electronic transfer of information. So when I say that this is a better or there is a better collaboration, that means the effective communication that is only done by using the electronic documents, by using the electronic method, that is the electronic transfer of information. Right. Now the next topic is e-marketplace. That is a e-marketplace means that is a place where all the supply chains, that is all the individuals, all the nodes are come up together in a market, and that is a digital market that is known as the e-marketplace. This says several financial institutions and telecommunication companies recently joined. So there is a need for or there is a rise of the demand for the private e-marketplace. So businesses are beginning to move to a more common sense approach to using online marketplaces. Suppliers are beginning to ask several questions that read like a or that read like a checklist for the manufacturers. That is, suppliers are beginning to ask various questions that acts as a checklist for the manufacturer, because suppliers passes the product to the manufacturer. So it's their role to hello 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 hello. So suppliers are beginning to ask various questions from their manufacturer that also acts like a checklist. Uh, what are the various questions that acts like a checklist? How can I make it easier for my customer to do business with me? So how can I attract the customer? That is also one of the question that arises from the supplier side. How can I make it easier for my customers to do business with me? How can I take care of my existing channel partners? So there are five nodes in my chain. So how can I take care of these existing channel partner, existing nodes? Next, how do I ensure my return on investment for my technology investment? So how do I ensure that there is some benefit, that is a return on investment taken place for the technology investment? Whatever I invest, how do I return much more from the investment? How do I increase my market capitalization over the long term? That is, how do I capture the market or how do my profits are increased over the long term in the future? The answer to these questions led to just one logical outcome, the rise and eventual domination of private e-marketplace. That is, after or the answer to this question provides a private e-marketplace. That is, private e-marketplace, whether consortium based or centered around a single large supplier, will dominate in the future because they have the capacity to cope up existing channel partners. That is, if there is a private e-marketplace, so it's or they have a authority, they have a capability to capture the, or first of all capture the future, that is secure the future, because they have a capacity to cope up with the existing channel partners like distributors, retailers, service centers, sale representatives, rather than exclude them. Buyers will benefit from this. Why? Buyers benefit from this because they will receive greatly improved service before and after the sale, while realizing the kinds of transactional efficiency the public marketplace promised. Ultimately, private e-marketplace will dominate because they provide good or greater control over branding, marketing, and transaction that contains various effective, or that contains or that ensures long-term customer satisfaction. This is not to say that public marketplace will disappear. No, we can't say that public marketplace disappear. No, that exists, but for the sake of the growing demand, for to satisfy the growing demand, so there is a need for the private e-marketplace. The public e-marketplace will become merely another sales channel for the supplier instead of the one and only distribution channel. Next topic is internet and supply chain management. That is how till now we have studied how intranet is related to the supply chain management. Now next topic is how internet is related to the supply chain management. What are the benefits that provided by the internet for the supply chain management? So next topic is internet and the supply chain management. That is how supply chain management is impacted or affected by the internet. Till now we have studied the how, that is how intranet is related to the supply chain management. Now next topic is how internet is related to the supply chain management. Now note that the hype is over. Now it is a time to look at what the internet does or make capable from a particular or practical point of view. In a nutshell, the internet is a unique medium that allows fast, two-way, secure communication. In a nutshell means, in a precise form, when I say the internet, it is a unique medium, it is a secure medium that allows a fast, two-way, secure communication. So there is a fast communication, secure communication, and there is a two-way communication. What makes the internet differ from the EDI? So what is the main difference between the internet and the EDI? As I told you, what is EDI? That is a electronic data interchange. That is a technology that is used how to transfer the data or how to interchange the data among various nodes in a network with the help of internet. That is a EDI. So this is one of the better technology that is provided by the internet. Essentially, the internet also performs the same function as a EDI at a fraction of cost, but it has capabilities that EDI does not possess, namely real-time versus batch processing, transmission of unlimited data type including graphics, CAD, that is a computer-aided design drawing, and open non-privately or proprietary network. If carefully exploited, so if I say that it is carefully exploited, then it is these networks or internet characteristics lead to the significant value creation. So if I say that internet is used for the supply chain management, that it is used for a significant value creation that can be taken care of the value analysis. To identify the potential sources of value from the B2B e-commerce. So when I say the B2B e-commerce, that is business to business e-commerce, so there is a good starting point, or that is a good starting point to think over is in which company with the both the customers and the suppliers. So this is the B2B, and internet is or supply chain management is used in general cases, that is a B2B e-commerce, that is a business to business e-commerce. And how companies interact with the customers by either executing a transactions. These are the various points that can be categorized. The interactions, that is executing a transaction, determining optimal prices, discovering available supply and unmet demand, supply chain planning for new and existing products. Therefore, three different categories uh, arises where B2B can be applied to the extract value. That is, three different categories means what are the three different roles in which the B2B is one of the major technology for the e-commerce, or one of the major technology that is supplied by the e-commerce. First of all, reduce the transaction charges. So if there is any transaction charges, that is reduced in case of B2B e-commerce. Then improve market efficiencies, enhance supply chain benefits. So there are more supply chain benefits that is increased by using B2B e-commerce. Prior to making any investment in B2B, a company has to identify the value created and the effort required for implementation under each of these categories. The relative position of these categories will not be the same for all the firms, but will vary based on the supply chain strategy and competitive environment. So whenever I say is the B2B, that does not depend on the supply chain on or the any of the firm, but they may depend on the supply chain management for the environment that can be used for the supply chain management. Now let's see what are the different what are the three different scenarios in which the B2B can apply, and what is the main or what is the meaning of these transaction charges, incurring cost, whatever the changes. So this is transaction charges are the cost that is incurred during the process of completing a transaction. So whenever I say transaction charges, that is a charges that is levied on the transactions that a customer makes. So these are the cost that is incurred during the process of completing a transaction. This includes the cost that is associated with handling proposals, quotations, processing orders, staffing the procurement function, operating the call center, and so on. So any cost that is incurred with the help of, or any cost that is incurred while performing the transactions, that is known as the transactional or transaction charges. Traditional channels of communication such as fax machine or phone machine also require the highest staffing on both the buyers and the seller side. That is also include, or that also rises the transactional charges. They also typically have high error rates because of the multiple data entries. As companies move towards electronic processes, error rate declines, fewer staffs are needed to process orders and order equipment, leading to lower over transactional cost. And market efficiencies also offers two avenue for a company to extract value. What is the to extract value? That is a price that is paid when bids from the suppliers, and the ability to match the surplus capacity in its supply chain with the unmet demand. The internet offers an opportunity in both the instances. That is the internet offers a opportunity, that is internet offers a benefit in both the both the instances, both the examples. What is the example? That is the price paid and the ability to match the surplus for the supply chain management. The internet facilitates the aggregation of order across all divisions of a company and makes it easier to bring in more potential suppliers for the bidding process. That is done by using the B2B e-commerce. And this also that is the internet also decreases the bullwhip effect that causes the various customer demand, or that rises the customer demand. And the internet can also provide the value from increased collaboration. That is, whenever there is a usage of the internet, there is a greater demand, or there is a more demand for the collaboration. That is, a communication is the better medium in the That communication is one of the better medium that takes place in the e-commerce strategies, or that takes place whenever we use the internet, like CAD systems, that is a computer aided designing, collaborations, promotion activities, that is occupied in the e-marketplace, that is used in the supply chain management. So we have studied so many advantages of internet while used in supply chain management. This says B2B e-commerce promise a virtual product workplace where engineers can collaborate with suppliers and customers in real time for their desk. That is, B2B e-commerce provides, that is a business to business e-commerce provides or promises a virtual product workplace where engineers can collaborate, where engineers can communicate with the suppliers and the customers in real time. That is a in real time means direct communication among the various customers. There is no mediator among the suppliers and the customers. In real time from their desk, save the cost. That is, they can communicate with the help of internet. A customer sitting at their end, supplier sitting at their end, they can communicate with each other. By this they can save their cost, and also increases the also saves the times, also increases the product development cycle. That is the increase in the development of the product. Now the next topic is measuring supply chain performance. That is how to measure the supply chain performance. If I say that measuring, how to measure, how to calculate what is the performance of the supply chain. This says the performance of supply chain is evaluated by how it reduces the cost or increases the value. This is one of the main important line. That is the first line. That how I judge that there is a good supply chain, or how I can measure the supply chain. That can be evaluated, that can be measured by how it reduces the cost and how it increases the value. When we use the supply chain and my cost will be decreased and my value will be increased, that is the production will be increased, then I say, yeah, this is a good supply chain. So the performance is evaluated by how it reduces the cost or increases the value. SCM performance monitoring is very important. In many industry, the SCM or the supply chain represents roughly around 75% of operating budget expense. That is, it is more that most of the country or most of the states, SCM offers or SCM occupies or represents around 75% of the operating budget expense. So believe or think how much it is very effective. Three common measures of performance are used when evaluating the SCM performance. So what are the three common measures of performance, or what are the three measures that is used, or what are the three criteria that is used for evaluating or for enhancing the supply chain performance? First says efficiency focuses on minimizing the cost by decreasing the inventory investment or value that is relative to the cost of goods sold. That is, if I say efficiency, that main focus on minimizing the cost. That is focused on minimizing the cost by decreasing the inventory investment or value that is relative to the cost of goods sold. An efficient firm is therefore one with the higher inventory turnover or fewer weeks worth of inventory on hand. So when I say that there is an efficient firm, that is one with the higher inventory turnover. Higher inventory turnover means high stock turnover or the fewer weeks worth of inventory on hand. Next one is responsiveness focuses on reduction in both inventory cost and the missed sales that comes with the faster. So whenever there is a great response, that is main used for reducing the inventory cost. So whenever the inventory cost reduces, there is an increase in the value. So that is the main target. So that is a good supply chain. A responsive firm is proficient in an uncertain market environment because it can quickly adjust production to meet the demand. Effectiveness, next point says effectiveness of the supply chain relates to the degree to which the supply chain creates value for the customer. Effectiveness focused supply chain are known as the value chains because they focus more on creating customers rather than reducing the cost and improve the productivity. If I say effectiveness of the supply chain, that is the degree that it gives the value for the customer, or it creates the value for the customer. So if I say effective focus supply chain, that is known as value chain. Why? Because they are most focusing on the computer rather than reducing the cost and increase the quality. Next is to examine the effect of the internet and the e-commerce on the supply chain is to examine the impact the internet has on the efficiency, responsiveness, effectiveness. This is the important line. So whenever I use the internet, whenever I use the e-commerce with the supply chain, so it is better to, or it is able to easily able to examine the internet that has an impact on the efficiency, that is an impact on the responsiveness, that is an impact on the performance, that is the impact on the responsiveness, that is the impact on the goodwill. So there are so many factors that is impacted by the, or that is occupied, or that is used by the internet whenever we use the internet with the supply chain management. So this line says to examine the effect of internet and e-commerce on the supply chain is to examine the impact the internet has on the efficiency, responsiveness, effectiveness, and overall performance of the supply chain. So this is the topic we have studied, that how internet is, or how we are measuring the supply chain performance by using the internet. So whenever we use the internet with the supply chain, so there is a better performance as compared to the whenever we use the intranet with the supply chain management. So we have studied till now two concepts. One is how internet is related to the supply chain management, and how internet is related to the supply chain management. And for the efficiency point of view, the internet that is related with the supply chain management is better one as compared to the intranet when related to the supply chain management. Right. Now next is, what are the advantages of internet e-commerce integrated supply chain? As I said, this is better one as compared to intranet. Now let's see what are the various advantages, why it is or why internet is better than the intranet in the supply chain management. But before this, let's take a break for 10 to 15 minutes, then move to this topic, that is advantages of internet integrated supply chain. So let's take a break right now. Now come back from the break. Now let's start the session again. Let's start the next topic, that is the advantages of internet integrated supply chain. That is, what are the advantages that is offered by whenever we use the internet in the supply chain management. So let's see what are the various advantages. This says the primary advantages of internet utilization in supply chain management are speed, decreased cost, flexibility, and the potential to shorten the supply chain. These are the various, or these are the total 4 advantages that makes the supply chain very effective whenever we use the internet in the supply chain management. So first one is speed. Let's see how speed is impacted, or how speed becomes advantages in case of internet integrated supply chain. This is a competitive advantage that accrues to those firms that can quickly respond to changing market conditions. So a competitive advantage means one of the advantages is the speed that offers to the firms that can quickly respond to the changing market condition, because the internet allows near instantaneous transfer of information. So whenever we use the internet that provides a real-time transfer of information between various nodes, between various links in supply chain, so it is ideal, or it is ideally suited to help firms that keep pace with their environment. Many businesses have placed a priority among or upon real-time information regarding the status of the orders and production from other members of the supply chain. So many of the businesses have placed a priority upon the real-time information that is used regarding the status of the orders and the production from other members of the supply chain. And then next one is cost decrease. So first one is speed, that is the first advantage. Next is the cost decrease, that is the reduction in the cost. This says internet based electronic procurement also helps to reduce the cost, or also helps the reduction in the cost. So whenever we use the internet, that also helps in reducing the cost. And how it reduces the cost? Because there is no requirement of the labor, because everything is doing online. So by decreasing the use of the paper, because there is also no requirement of the paper, because there is no manual writing, something that is manual writing, but most of the work can be placed on the MS Word, MS Excel, Notepad, any of the application that we use for the writing purpose. So it reduces the cost by reducing the use of the paper, labor, reducing the errors, and providing better tracking of the purchase order and the goods quality. So why there is a reduction in the error? Because computer is doing the calculations, so there is no calculations error, logic error while using the internet for the supply chain management. And it also provides the better tracking of the purchased goods, orders, and goods delivery, streamlining ordering processes and cutting acquisition cycle times. So it reduces the cost by providing these benefits, by enabling these advantages, like reducing the labor cost, reducing the paper cost, reducing the error cost, providing better tracking, streamlining, that is the sequence of the ordering processes, and cutting down the cycle times. Then the next advantage is that flexibility. That internet also provides a flexibility that also allows for the custom interfaces between the company and its different clients, helping to cost effectively establish mass customization. So whenever a company needs that he or she, or that the owner needs, or owner wants, that he or she wants to make the co collaboration communication with other firms, that can also be possible with the use of internet. So internet also allows for the custom interfaces between a company and its different clients, helping to cost effectively establish mass customization. So it helps for the cost effectively establish mass customization, means bulk customization, that is customizing according to the user needs. A manufacturer can easily create a custom template or website for a fellow supply chain member with pre-negotiated or negotiated prices for various products listed on the sites. So manufacturer can easily create a template or the website for a fellow supply chain members for various negotiated price, or the negotiated means the lower price for various products that are listed on the site. That makes the reordering only a mouse click away. That is, if I want to reorder the product, if a owner wants to reorder, that is only done by simply clicking with the mouse. So that's provide a flexibility. Flexibility means the user or the owner can mold the information or mold the buttons as per their requirement, as per the user's requirement. The information regarding this transaction can be sent via the internet to the selling firm's production floor and the purchasing firm's purchasing and accounts department. So any information can be provided to various departments. So that is also the flexibility in case of the internet that offers, or that is offered by the internet. The accuracy and the reliability of information is greater than the traditional paper and pencil transaction. Personal time is reduced. These are the various advantages that we have studied in the last point also. These advantages can benefit both the firms that is involved in the transaction. Both the firms means buyer, seller, supplier, manufacturer, that is both the firms. Next is shortening the supply chain. That is the next point, that is the next advantage of internet using the or internet involving in the supply chain management. That is a shortening supply chain. Shortening means reducing the supply chain, reduction in the supply chain. Dell computer is one of the better example of the power the internet has can have a supply chain. Dell helped create one of the best or fully internet-enabled supply chains and revolutionized the personal computer industry by selling directly to businesses and consumers. So Dell is one of the better company, better firm that offers various computers, laptop, as you know, as me know, right? So till now, what happened? That there is a supply chain that the Dell provides to the manufacturers, manufacturer provides to the retailer, retailer provides to the end users, that is a customer, that is we. But nowadays, what Dell provides, so in the mid 1996, Dell began allowing customers to configure and order the computers online. So internet provides the advantage that customer can go to the website and can order the laptops, order the computers online. By 1998, the company recorded roughly $1 billion in pure internet orders. By reducing the sales cost and attracting customers who spend more per transaction, they estimate that it yields 30% greater profit margins on the internet sales compared to the telephone sales. That is in 1996, that is in nowadays, that more and more customer, or there is a greater profit that is taken care, or there is a greater profit that takes place while using the internet sales as compared to the telephone sales. So nowadays more and more activities can be happened on the internet sales as compared to the telephone sales. Now next is disadvantages of internet e-commerce integrated supply chain. Now let's see what are the various limitations of using the internet integrated supply chain. That is disadvantages means limitations of internet e-commerce integrated supply chain. This says negative features of an integrated internet integrated supply chain include increased interdependence, the cost of implementation, keeping up with the change in the expectations. So negative features means the limitations of the internet, because as I said, there are some advantages of internet based integrated supply chain. So there are some disadvantages also, because if anything has an advantage, so that thing also has a disadvantages. So what are the limitations of internet e-commerce integrated supply chain? That includes increased interdependence, cost of implementation, and keeping up with the change in expectation, that is updated as per the expectations, that is have to be updated. So these are the three disadvantages of internet integrated supply chain. So the first one is increased interdependence. That is the first point, that is there is an increment in the interdependence. It is true that the internet facility at various levels of integration helps the members of the supply chain to create improved partnership. So it is true, it is correct that the internet facilities, that is the internet facilities means the internet occupation at the various levels of integration also helps the members of the supply chain to create improved partnership, coordinate their operations more closely, and reduce the inefficiencies. However, doing so requires an enormous amount of trust and information sharing. That is the also there is a requirement for doing the business, for doing the enormous amount of trust and the information sharing. To stay competitive, many companies find that they must share information electronically that they once considered proprietary. So once they consider the proprietary, or once they get the information, that is also accessed by using the various information. So it is true that there is a interdependence of the, or there is a increment in the interdependence while using the internet based supply chain, because everything is depend on the internet. If there is a no internet facility, so how can I do my work? There is a lack of or there is a lack of the work done. So that is the increased interdependence. Increased commoditizations, increased competition, shrinking profit margins are forcing companies to increase the outsourcing and subcontracting to minimize the cost. By focusing on its core competencies, a firm should be able to maximize its economies of scale and its competitiveness. However, such a strategy also requires increased reliance and information sharing between members of the supply chain. Increased dependency on various members of the supply chain can have disastrous consequences if these supply chain members are unable to handle the functions assigned to them. That is, if the various members like manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer do not assign their or do not perform their task that is assigned to them, so that is also impacted by the or that is also impact the supply chain management. Next is the cost of implementation. That is, the implementation cost is also high in the internet based supply chain, because there is a proper setup for the internet. There is a proper setup for the internet based, like server setting, computer setting, high bandwidth, internet connection, ISP usage. So there is a high cost of implementation. This says implementation of a fully integrated internet-based supply chain is expensive. This is the most important line. That is a fully integrated internet-based supply chain. One is a half integrated. That is, some portion is used by the internet, some portion is used by the intranet. But if I say that fully integrated internet-based supply chain, that is very expensive. This expense includes what I said: hardware cost, software cost, reorganization cost, and the training cost. Why? Because if one of the individual comes or if any person is doing or using the internet for the supply chain, like manufacturer, retailer, so there should be a proper training and to the retailers, to the manufacturer, and that could also the cost to the organization. So that also includes or expense of the implementation, or the implementation cost also includes this one, that is a training cost, hardware cost, software cost, reorganization cost, and the training cost. While the internet promises many advantages once it is fully integrated into the supply chain. This is one of the major condition, that it is when it is fully integrated into supply chain, then it offers the various advantages. But before this, there are so many costs that occurs or that incurred in implementing the supply chain management. A significant upfront investment is needed for full deployment. Next is keeping up with the change in the expectations. That is a keeping up in the change with the expectations means there is a change or there is a requirement for changing in the expectation that must be taken care of. So whenever there is any change, so in case of internet, that changes must be or we have to, or the supply chain members, that is the nodes, have to make the changes in their nodes, in their terms. So keeping them, that is updated with the change in the expectations. This says expectations have increased as internet use has become part of daily life. When customers send order electronically, so when the customer sends the order electronically, they expect to get a quick confirmation and delivery or denial if the order cannot be met. So when the customer sends the order electronically, or customer sends the order electronically, then they expect that there is a quick confirmation, there is a quick delivery, there is a quick denial if the order cannot be met. Increasingly, in this and other ways, customers are dictating terms and conditions to suppliers. So we have to, or whenever we use the internet, we have to update with the expectations. Now next is ERP and the supply chain management. There is many SCM application, that is this topic is nothing but not important, that how ERP is related with the supply chain management. This says many SCM applications are reliant upon the kind of information that is stored in most quantity inside the ERP software. So how ERP software is used with the supply chain management. So this paragraph just said that ERP is one of the software that is used to content, or that is used to get the SCM, or that is used to store the information that is related to the SCM. So there are so many SCM applications that is related with the software. So that is a software, or ERP is a software that integrate all the activities of the supply chain management. So this is one of the important line. They call the ERP project putting your information house in order. That is putting all the information of the supply chain management, that is the SCM, in the ERP projects. Of course, ERP is expensive and difficult, so you may not, or you may want to explore ways to feed your SCM application the information that they need without ERP does. So it is very expensive and difficult. Companies will need to decide if these products meet their needs or if they need a more specialized systems. Applications that simply automate the logistic aspects of SCM are less dependent upon gathering information from around the company. So applications that simply uses the various aspects of SCM are less dependent upon gathering the information from around the company. So they tend to be independent of the ERP decisions. But chances are you need to have these applications communicate with the ERP in some fashion. And ERP is also used with the help of internet based application. This is also the line that says that whenever we use the ERP software, that is their must condition is that the computer is connected with the internet. So this is the example. If anyone or anybody wants to build a private website for communicating with his customer and suppliers, he will want to pull up information from ERP and supply chain applications together to present uploaded information about orders, payments, manufacturing status and delivery. So if anyone have to pull out the information, or anyone have for communicating with the customers and the supplier, then he or she wants to pull the information about the ERP and the supply chain applications, that is the updated information about the orders, payment, manufacturing status and the delivery. Now next is summary. That is the next part, that is the summary part. So this says the internet provides a tool that allows supply chain activities to be carried out in an instantaneous manner, facilitating maximum supply chain performance. So this is just a summary. That is what we have covered in this chapter. So we have wind up this chapter. Now there is a summary. That is what we have covered. That is the crux of the chapter. So internet is a tool that provides the supply chain management or supply chain activities that is carried out in an efficient manner, that provides a good efficiency, good performance of the supply chain. The positive benefits of integrating the internet into management of the supply chain generally outweigh the risk and associated cost. Firms who have completed such integration also holds a current competitive advantage over those that have not. So internet also provides a supply chain activity that is to be carried out in a synchronized way, in an instantaneous way, facilitating the maximum supply chain performance. And it is also, whenever there is internet usage, there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages that is offered by the internet based supply chain management. And business to business exchanges are developing in nearly all the industries and take the form of either seller centric, web centric or true exchanges in which many sellers have access to many buyers. This is difficult for businesses to share with outsiders. Such should competitors become aware of such proprietary information, the result could be devastating. Organizations starting or striving to achieve optimum SCM through the use of internet necessarily will need to have absolute confidence in their suppliers and other involved in supply chain. So whenever there is a need, or whenever organization needs to achieve the greater or optimum SCM, that is usage of the with the use of internet, they have a good confidence, or they will need have a good absolute confidence in their suppliers and other parties that is involved in supply chain management. Using the internet for the same purpose does not represent a major paradigm shift in belief system